Would you please first join us in a salute to our nation's flag, please? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As always, thank you for that. Carol, let the record show that Supervisors Cassiola, Agizio, Fisher, Barney, and Schifani are in attendance. In addition, our Township Manager, Dawn Januso, our Assistant Township Manager and Director of Planning, Jack King, our Chief of Police, Sean Bukovinsky, our Director of Public Works, Bill Bottorff, our Southbridge Supervisor, Dan Miller, our interim fire chief, Ted Wolford, our township engineer, Dan Dizeroth of Gateway Engineers, and our township solicitor tonight, Alexis Wheeler. At this time, we will take comments. If you see something on the agenda you'd like to make a comment on, we will entertain that right now. Something on the agenda? We'll, wait. Sorry, I can't do it now. If it's something unrelated, we'll address it at the end of the meeting. All right, some announcements. We did have an executive session to meet with our solicitor on several either pending legal matter and a pending ordinance. And I am going to announce that our board still, we've had 9 hours of testimony on our current oil and gas ordinance. We still don't have a consensus. We still take into consideration comments that we've gotten from residents in the past hearings, and we still are working on it. We do plan on having a hearing on Monday, August 19th at 6 p.m. We will have some final maps to actually vote on. So I mean, you're welcome to attend at that time. We will not be voting at the hearing, though. We'll have maps to show to you, present them, take comments on them, and then our next public meeting, which will be in September now, we will be able to vote on it. So it's August 19th at 6 p.m. As soon as we have them, we will. The what? Yes, 19th. The municipal offices will be closed on Thursday, July 4th in observance of the holiday, and business will resume on Friday, July 5th at 8 a.m. Don't forget about our Muse fireworks at the Muse Ball Field on July 5th on that Friday. Our rain date is Saturday, July 6th. And again, as a reminder, Jordan Tax Services, if you're interested, we'll be at the Township Building on July 8th from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. for this year's school taxes. We have additional dates on Friday, September 20th from 9 a.m. to noon, Tuesday, September 24th from 9 a.m. to noon, and Friday, September 27th from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. So if you need their help for filing, come with those times. Our Cecil Township Historic Society will be meeting on Wednesday, July 17th. The guest speaker will be Kathy Pigford, who will be present and talking about the history of Cecil Township Jail, I guess part 2. It's a continuation. It's so much interest, she couldn't get it done at the last meeting. Everyone is welcome. Also, our Parks and Recreation Board will sponsor a Cecil Fun Fest Day in the park on Saturday, July 13th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. There'll be a water play area, miniature golf, dunk tank, slip and slide, adult cornhole tournament, kids cornhole, and mini games for the kids too. Scooty's Ice Cream will be there, Isabella's Happiness Lemonade Stand. In addition, Children's Entrepreneur Market from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. I think that's where the kids sell their goods that they made. And Billy Ann's Diner will have a concession or operate our concession stand for us. The concession stand and the children's market are cash only. There will be. This is, I think, the first time we're doing it like this, and I think everyone will have something to do. Starting with our professional staff, Dawn, our township manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you can tell, our AV system has not yet been upgraded. We're still waiting for product. I hope that comes in any week now. I keep talking to the vendor. It's just a matter of product availability. I also met with the property owner of property adjacent to the Coomer Road intersection, which we plan to do some work there. I have not been able to reach an agreement with that property owner. Dan and I will be having another discussion with that property owner, and hopefully I can bring something in front of the board by next meeting. For the past week and a half, staff here at the building has noticed a intermittent void in the stream of Miller's Run right behind the building at the southeast corner of our property. Bill and I have been in touch with personnel from the DEP BAMR Division, that's the Bureau of Abandoned Mine Reclamation, and they are going to address the issue. And with that, I'm going to give it to Bill because Bill had the latest conversation with DEP Representative Drew Frederick. Bill?
Thanks, Don. My most recent conversation was this morning with Drew Frederick with the DEP. And just to summarize what's been going on back here, Miller's Run has been emptying into a mine shaft via borehole. The research with their records have determined that it's a borehole that the plug has come out of. It may have been compromised during the stream improvement project. They can't say for certain, but in reviewing the drawings, the mine shaft is in the Pittsburgh seam. It's approximately, there's approximately 120 feet of cover over top of that shaft. And Drew's team reported that there's been an increased volume of water being treated down at the Gladden location for at the downstream treatment facility. It normally treats about 600 gallons per minute and is now treating about 1,200 gallons per minute. So that water that's going into that hole over there is showing up down there at the treatment pump down behind the farmer's market. It normally is capable of treating anywhere from 500 to 600 gallons. So that excess water that's being run through that pump station down there is not of the quality that you're normally accustomed to. So they may see some oranging and some sulfur increases in the stream down there until this gets capped. Now, Drew plans to mobilize a crew within the next week or two to set a cofferdam to redirect the flow of water away from that borehole, and then we'll attempt to plug the borehole. They could possibly use up to 8 cubic yards of concrete, but they think they can successfully plug that borehole. So right now, Drew is working on the emergency permit. Get that done. They'll get that expedited. As soon as he gets that back, they'll mobilize out here. They may actually mobilize out here prior to the permit arriving to evaluate the size of the cofferdam that has to be put in. They have to do it during a low water condition, which we currently have. We have about 2 feet to 2.5 feet of water in there right now. Their cofferdams that they set are about 4 foot high. So I report to him about every other day as to the water level out there and whether it's still conducive to setting cofferdams. So that's the latest that I have. Dawn and I are both in touch with Drew on a regular basis on this little project back here.
Is the Bureau of Mines actually in charge down there?
DEP is.
DEP, okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Bill. Well, we're at it. Sean, Police Chief report.
Hi, good evening. So the police department has had several requests to check car seats. We have 2 officers that are trained and certified to check the seats. If anyone would need any seats checked, please contact the police department to set up an appointment. But that's all I have.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jack, anything on building and zoning? Okay. Bill, specifically Public Works?
Yes, with regard to Public Works, we've been busy with the patching of edge of roads and stuff like that. I've completed probably about 70% of the landscaping up at the building. We're waiting for some of the other work to progress forward. Talked to Steve Morgan today with Morgan Excavating. He's got a couple of issues he's got to get cleared up as far as work points and stuff like that. They're ready to go up there with the Klinger Road work with reducing that vertical curve up there, softening the horizontal curve, And then last Friday, I'm happy to report that we received the trusses and covers for the new salt storage dome. They're on the ground up there, and we have a tentative date of July 9th for the delivery of the precast panels, and they'll start assembly on the July 9th of the new salt storage dome. That building is 65 feet by 155 feet, and we should be able to get all of our salt supply in there. And we intend and hope to keep our satellite locations for convenience. We have one in South Point that holds about 600 ton, and one up at 980 that holds about 1,000 tons. So it'll make our operations a lot easier, and if you can believe it, make us more efficient than we already are as far as winter maintenance operations. I'm happy to report that Independent has begun the Capital Roads program. We have a couple of roads that have already been completed, Oliver Drive, Profio, and they continue with their drainage work, and very pleased with the progress we're making there. So that's all I have for this evening. Thank you.
Bill, what's the traffic plan for Klinger whenever they're taking that earth out? The traffic plan for cars?
There's a detour that
I
they'll
mean,
put in place.
You have an idea how long?
We hope to have that done before the start of school. So, but we've been in touch with the transportation director with Canada Mac, and there's only a couple of buses, and they're not really impacted by it. So they gave their blessing to the closure. So,
All right, thank you, Bill.
you're welcome.
Dan, engineers report?
On the engineer's report, the board has my report dated June 24th. Just to highlight a couple items, we did receive bids on the Walnut Street culvert. We're going to present that tonight for your consideration. I'll go over that in a little more detail. And then the manager and I had some discussions related to stormwater ponds. Would like to come in at a future meeting date and give the board an update on some statistics about how many ponds we have in the township and how we, in the future, ensure that those ponds are maintained and inspected properly, because they're not the township's. And you might want to consider some policy related to that. We've been doing a lot of that for other clients, so I think we can give you some options on how to look at those items. Other than that, Bill reported on the Public Works building. He reported on the things that are going outside, all the contractors related to the building itself. The general construction is complete, but a lot of the subs are still up there finishing up some of their work. So there's a number of different estimates on the agenda tonight for your consideration. That's kind of the highlights.
All right, thank you, Dan. Alexis, the solicitor's report?
Sure. So I believe there's a larger report that was submitted by Gretchen last week for you all to read. Nothing groundbreaking there, primarily typical case management and day-to-day assistance as needed. But I was informed that Gretchen likes to provide legislative updates or other sort of legal facts as part of her report. So something that I wanted to just talk briefly about was House Bill 589, which is currently pending before the House of Representatives, before the General Assembly. And that is a landslide insurance and grant program that could be passed. What it's for is providing protection to homeowners in landslide-prone areas, because I think we all understand that our homeowners insurance does not typically cover landslides. This would provide state-provided insurance proceeds. I think the number was $150,000 maximum, or the total cost of the structure, whatever was more. And so that's currently pending. It would also provide for grant assistance to local governments that would be interested in trying to mitigate the landslide risk posed to its residents. So if that's something you have any opinion on, or if you're interested in it, please call your representative, and I'm sure they'd be happy to hear how you feel about that before they vote on it. That's all I have.
Thank you, Alexis. Our fire department reports, Ted?
Yeah, June 8th, we responded to a house fire in the town of Muse. Great job by our first arriving crews who were able to bring the fire under control. There were no injuries reported at that fire. We also had assistance from Cannonsburg, North Strabane, and Peters Township Fire Departments, so thank you for your assistance. The weekend of the 21st and the dates of the 21st to the 23rd on that weekend, we had limited volunteers in the township, so we staffed the Muse Fire Station that weekend We were able to cover the whole weekend with a combination of our part-time firefighters and our duty shift volunteer firefighters to make sure we had protection for the township. While they were on duty, they also covered 2 pyrotechnic standby events for fireworks. The DCED consultant, I talked to them today. They should have their final approvals within the DCED to assign us a consultant in the next couple weeks. We should be hearing back from them. We, in the fire department, are also EMS providers. We put together an EMS committee. 2 people from each of the fire stations in the township are on the committee, and they're also working with Southbridge EMS so that we can review our equipment and make sure we're working together with Southbridge the best we can to provide patient care whenever they need our assistance. And last thing I have is the Lawrence Georgetown Road project. We do have emergency plans in place between fire, police, EMS, and our mutual aid townships to respond to that area if there should be an emergency.
Is it still slated to take until fall?
From what I understand, yes.
Well, long project. Thank you, Ted. Southbridge, Dan?
Our report's been submitted to the board, and we are still pending a date for the CPR class. So it's been a really busy summer, so we're hoping to get that scheduled soon. September.
You go talking to the microphone.
I was just thinking September, in the summer, people have vacations and we want to get the most response, and because, am I wrong, that's a multi-day class. The intent is to hold, so the class that we held in May was hands-only CPR, and it was what, 4 hours? Or 3 hours?
2 hours.
Okay. So there was an interest at that class to hold a longer, more certification type class. And we've been looking for a date. The summer's hard because everybody's on vacation, but September, things are settled down.
Yeah, that usually works because if people need a certifying card, they need
Dan,
it
make
for
sure you're
school
talking
and
So why
nursing
don't we
school.
just pick it now and say, like, it can't be Labor Day weekend, but like the 2 weekends after that? One of the 2 weekends after that? Does that work for you? Not to like put you on the spot. You can get back to me, and then we'll get it advertised on the website. But
Okay.
if you can get people, one of those 2 weekends I think would work great.
Okay. Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Okay. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, if we could do it in conjunction to maybe the morning of one of our fall festival, but you're working, you guys work the fall festival, so. Okay, so it'll have to be before that, okay.
Is that it, Dan?
Yeah, that's it.
I'm not trying to cut you off if you have more.
All good.
All right, thank you, Dan. Dan, I think you gave us the update on the Public Works? Or do
I
you have
did already, yes.
Anything else? Okay. All right, we're going to move into our resolutions. I think we have, well, not a lot of them. Resolution number 165-2024 is to consider the application number 2024-0004 for the 275 Technology Drive Parking Addition Site Plan. The applicant is 275 Tech Fee LLC at 275 Technology Drive in South Point. The Planning Commission recommended approval, contingent on addressing comments from our township engineer.
Is there anybody here representing the plan? So they must have not gotten the message. Just gonna call up the plans here. So this is 275 Technology Drive in South Point. This is an existing parking lot. What they're proposing to do is they're proposing to add additional parking to the building and creating in this area that's adjacent to the building. They did the first phase of this work last year. This is the second phase. They're constructing a parking lot of, it's over 100 cars. I forget what the number is on here. But it's basically just an addition to their parking lot. They meet their parking requirements based upon the building that's there, obviously, already. But this is just additional parking, I guess, they need for tenants to make the building more viable. That's the explanation we've been given. The site is basically, there's grading that's required to create the parking lot. This is sort of a mound that they're going to create to deal with it. There's stormwater management that's provided for the parking. That's been the primary focus of the review. Landscaping, lighting, and other things that are typically required. So they've been through a couple rounds of comments at the Planning Commission, and the Planning Commission recommended approval of the development. This is the landscaping plan. They're required to have a little bit of a buffer over here, and then the trees that are planted as shown on this plan. So if there's any questions of the board, I'd be glad to answer them.
Well, have
Thank
the
you.
comments been addressed that you made after the planning commission?
Yes, they have. They've addressed all our comments. We've issued a clean, I'll call it a clean letter. There's just some administrative things that need to be done after the board would consider approval, such as the development agreement, posting of financial security, and all the other things that we typically do with land developments.
All right, is there a motion to approve this site plan?
I'll make the motion.
Been moved? Second. And seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. For 166-2024, to consider application 2024-0009 for the Level Up Pickleball Land Development Site Plan. The applicant is Wayne Dollard. They are here. It's located on 11 Mayview Road. The Planning Commission has recommended approval, also contingent on a few comments from our engineer. I know you have some pictures to show us.
Hi, my name is Greg Banner. I'm with Key Environmental, and I'm here tonight representing Level Up Pickleball. With me is Mr. Wayne Dollard. He's the owner, and he can answer sort of non-technical questions. Yes, we're here tonight seeking your final approval on our site plan. What is proposed is a 48,000 square foot indoor pickleball facility. About probably the back 60% will be courts, 8 on either side. There'll be a viewing, what I call peninsula, down the middle so people can watch the games. There'll be a restaurant, bar, pro shop, men's and women's locker rooms. So I think it'll be a really fantastic facility. There'll also be some offices for Wayne's staff, as well as like a small banquet hall type of thing. Currently the site is at 17 Mayview Road, and it had been a parcel of about 6 acres in size. Mr. Dollard, what they did was subdivide an L-shaped piece off, leaving about 1.9 acres or so. Currently, stormwater management for the entire site, which is really impervious areas, are the building, parking lot, entrance driveway, and some maneuvering area. These are the loading docks for the existing building. This stormwater pond provides rate control then for the site. So what we're proposing, again, is the 48,000 square foot building, an entrance drive, and this from...
Greg, keep your voice up, please.
I'm sorry. From Mayview Road down to the parking field is a drop of about 10 feet. So about the rear of the building wall will be about 10 feet in the ground. So it'll serve as a retaining wall, as will portions of the north and south walls. We're providing 124 parking spaces in the parking fields. We have handicap spots in this area with the accessible route to the sidewalk. The discharge from this is a subsurface detention system, so it provides stormwater control for the new development as well as for the existing building. And that discharges to the same location as the current stormwater pond. There is an 18-inch diameter pipe that comes under Mayview Road carrying flow from the east side. It currently travels through the site in a swale and discharges in the back near where the pond discharges. What we are now doing is, because we don't want to bring that water into our subsurface system. It's merely pass-through, so we have an 18-inch pipe that comes all the way through the site and goes on out. A couple retaining walls are required for the parking lot, the largest in this area, the height about 9 feet at one point. The rest of the walls are 5 feet, 7 feet or less. We did have to get a waiver for the 9-foot wall because your ordinance is limited to 6 feet. We have a trash enclosure in the back. There'll be a bocce court here on the side, several patios with tables outside. Let's see, we are, as far as a couple satellite approvals that we'll need, we're currently working our way through the NEPDES and ENS plan approval. We should have the NEPDES permit probably within the next 3 weeks. I'll be submitting the highway occupancy permit application probably before the end of the week. But those are approvals that typically lag with the site development approval process. Unless I could answer some technical questions you might have, or I could let Wayne tell you about the project a little bit, and then we could answer at the end.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Dollard.
Hello.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, any questions you might have? We do have photographs if you'd like to see, or images of
Yeah,
what.
you had some renditions up. I think
Sure.
residents might want to see
Do you know that?
while we're talking.
So our facility was, it'll be 7 days a week open. We'll be opening early in the morning, around 7. It's for seniors and people who work from home. So roughly 7 to 11 in the morning we'll be open. And then we're virtually shutting down from 11 until about 6 p.m. And then the outside working crowd will come in around 6. And we are expecting to be open till 11 at night. And Sunday we'll have shortened hours, but that's our 6-day-a-week schedule. 7 to 11. And then, again, the evening, 6 to 11. And then anything by appointment in the meantime. Okay, so this is a picture of our facility from the outside. And the name of the facility is called Level Up Pickleball Club. And we're very influential in the pickleball world with our Level Up Pickleball camps. We travel the country, my wife and I, and we have about 50 pros that work for us. And we teach in 35 states. We teach about 5,000 people per year. And then we also publish the National Pickleball magazine. So we get around across the country with that as well. And so we're kind of making this our home base. And we just want to be able to teach pickleball, play pickleball, and it'll be a great home. We used to play at the South Point Courthouse before it became the trampoline park Sky Zone. And so this is kind of our replacement from Sky Zone, so we can play pickleball indoors now. So that's our first photo. We have about 125 parking spots, plus my building is next door. And I have about 28 spots more, and we're going to try to add about 20 onto that with your approval over the next few months. And we don't think that we're going to have more than 60 or 70 people in the club at a time, but there might come those annual tournaments or those things like that. We might have 100 people on a Saturday, so we're putting in a lot of parking just to make sure that everyone's comfortable with that. How do I scroll? Let's see here. Okay, just double click. I have a Mac, I'm sorry. I don't know how to use computers. Okay. No. Try the next one, that's fine. Inside the facility, we're having a darts room. We're going to have 6 dart boards inside for like leagues on Friday nights and maybe on one other night a week. So people who like to play darts can enjoy that. And in addition to that, we're going to have a table tennis night once a week. People who like to play table tennis. And then we have a restaurant, which will be serving homemade pizzas and ice cream. That's okay there, too. We're going to have a locker room facility inside, which we're going to have about 200 lockers between the men's and women's locker room and showers as well. And that's good. Yeah. And then we have 16 indoor courts. 5 of them have big glass doors and patios on the outside, so you can sit outside on a summer day and enjoy the games. That's probably really pretty much, unless you have any questions for me.
I wanted to mention that we appreciate you working on that extra parking. Your business to us, we have a parking ordinance, but your business, a pickleball club, is kind of unusual to us. Just like when we were the Isoplex came into South Point, where it was new to us. I mean, what the heck's an Isoplex?
Yeah.
So parking was always a concern, but they worked it out, and that's apparently you have too, so we appreciate that.
Yeah, and another thing I do want to bring up is my office is situated on the corner of Mayview and Georgetown. The stop sign that's my office, that's my parking lot, that's my lot. And there is sometimes traffic when I leave at 5 o'clock. There's like a traffic on, if you're going to Georgetown Estates, you'll see some traffic from like 4:30 to 5 o'clock, and usually back 4, 5, 6, 7 cars. We're virtually closed at that time. And the reason I bring this up is because at the planning committee, when the residents brought this up, they said, are you going to impact traffic on the weekdays? And the answer is no. We are going to be there 7 to 11, and then later in the evening. But just like the Sky Zone is open to kids in the evening, but it's not like no one's there during the day, we are a morning evening club, and we're virtually no business in the afternoon. So I just want to let you guys know that too.
All right, thank you. Anybody have any comments, questions about it? It's just a site plan, it needs approved. Okay, we appreciate the presentation, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we can act on this, is there?
Yeah, Tom, the plan as submitted, it meets the technical requirements of the ordinance. I would just say that if you decide to approve the plan, it should include the modification on the height of the wall from 6 to 9 feet. No problem with that. They'll have to provide a design of that when it's actually constructed, but that's just a modification.
All right, the motion will say that we'll approve the pickleball land development site plan with the modification of the 9-foot-high retaining wall for the parking lot. Is there a motion to approve this site
I'll make
plan?
the motion.
It's been
I'll
moved
second it.
and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? The motion carries. All right,
Thank you very much.
guys. Our 167, 2024, consider application number 2024-0011 for the Alto Piano Phase 9, the revised lots 907 to 909. The applicant is Grazione Homes on Skyline Drive in Alto Piano.
Yeah, this is just a lot line adjustment in the Alto Piano plan. They're actually making this lot bigger and this lot a little bit smaller. The road has already been constructed. This is typical of what's been done in the plan where they subdivide after the fact. The lots meet the requirement of the requirements for the ordinance of 12,000 square feet. They have, I believe, 80-foot frontage and 25-foot front yard. So the plan is submitted. There's no technical comments, so it's ready to go.
I'll make the motion, we approve.
It's been moved. Do I have a second? I'll second that. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, Dan. For item 168-2024, consider application 2024-0012 for 275 Technology Drive lot consolidation plan. I think Dan described all that earlier in his report.
Yeah, this is just the consolidation plan to actually put the parking all on one lot. So they'll be eliminating a lot line here in the center, and this will all be one combined lot after completion.
All right, is there a motion to approve this
Make the motion.
lot consolidation? It's been moved
I'll second it.
and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. For 169-2024, it's consider the application for payment number 9 for the work completed to date on the Public Works Facility building. It's the fire protection system in amount of $12,450 to Alliance Fire Systems.
Yeah, this is a current payment. We're still holding some retainage on the project, but we're getting near the end on this one. The recommendation is for a payment of $12,450.
So, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Moved? Second. It's been moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
No.
Carol, let the record show 4-1, the motion carries. For item 170-2024, it's application for payment number 9 for the work completed on a public works facility or mechanical project in the amount of $28,890 to East West Manufacturing and Supply.
I'll make
Yep.
a motion.
Been
Oh,
moved.
sorry.
Second.
And seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
No.
Opposed? Carol, 4-1, the motion carries. For 171-2024, consider application for payment number 14 for the work completed on a public works facility, the electrical project in the amount of $13,804.04 to S.E. Schultz Electric. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
It's been moved.
Second.
Seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
No.
Opposed? Carol, 4-1, the motion carries. Item number 172-2024, consider application for payment number 1 for the work completed to date for the salt shed site preparation project in the amount of $29,250 to Independent Enterprises.
I'll make a motion.
Again, this is up through our grant
Yeah.
coverage.
Yes, this would be, this is a part of the grant application.
The next time, show that in the motion for us. It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Abstain.
Okay, is there a motion approval? 3 ayes, 1 abstention. Carol and Darlene, I didn't hear.
Is this for the public works or is this for,
The salt shed that's
The
under the
salt shed.
grant, that's paid for by the grant.
yes.
Okay, carries 4-0 to 1, Carol. For 173-2024, it's consider application for payment number 1 for the work completed to date for contract A, maintenance, pavement maintenance program in the amount of $144,624.74 to Independent Enterprises.
I'll
Have a
make-
motion?
I'll make a motion.
It's been moved
Second.
and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Abstained.
Carol, motion carries 4-0 to 1, the motion carries. For 174-2024, it's considered the award of Walnut Street, the Muse Culvert base bid to Jet Jack in the amount of $315,797.50. Dan, you can explain it, what it's doing. please.
Sure. This is the Walnut Street culvert. The scope of the project includes replacing the culvert that carries the stream through Muse. This is Bishop Road. This is Walnut Street. The project, as I said, the main part of the project is to replace this arch culvert. It will include some wing walls here on either side to hold up the pavement and to address stream erosion. There's some storm sewer that would be installed, and there's also some repaving as a part of the project. The bids came in per the engineer's estimate. They came in at budget. The wing walls, as we included in the base bid, will be Ready Rock wing walls. That's just a prefabricated concrete block wall as opposed to a cast-in-place wall. Talked to Bill about this and to Dawn, and we agree that the project, because it's a low arch culvert, very low pipe, that the wing walls are not significant on here. We're going to have guardrail above the wing walls too. So the project is in order, and would like to get it going as quickly as possible to avoid issues as much as possible with school. So that's it. I can answer any questions if you have any.
Dan, you had 5 bids, I think, right?
Yeah, there was a number of different bids. We had actually 4 bids. The lowest was $315 and the highest was $420. This was the alternate price for the cast-in-place concrete walls, and we just don't think it's necessary, and it'll move the project along much more quickly.
All right, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
One question, hold on. Dan, what's the plan to get rid of like the vegetation and stuff there? Because that's like really heavy in through there. Will that help all this?
In the immediate vicinity of the project, it will. We're not going upstream too far or downstream too far, just enough to put in the culvert. We're staying within the right-of-way that we have there to work with.
Okay.
It's been moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Abstained.
Aye.
Carol, 401, the motion carries. Item 175-2024, it's to consider the application for the transfer of the liquor license from Falcons Management of South Strabane Township to Main Street Game Room in Main Street in South Point. You heard something of the hearing if you were here earlier today. It's on the agenda. If I have a motion and a second, we can approve.
I'll make that motion.
Been
Second.
moved
Second.
and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. For 176-2024, it's to consider the purchase of one Rosenbauer pumper at a total cost of $977,882 from Robinspire, Minnesota LLC. We are getting a 4% cash discount of $41,500. It's a source well contract purchase, so we didn't have to bid it. But Dawn, could you explain we have the money for it?
Yes, we do. We have fire tax funds, money that was remaining from the unused money that was in the remaining Lawrence Sewer CD, and the remaining $87,000 will be used from the ARA funds that we received during COVID.
It was COVID funds he's talking about. But yeah, we will have to pay on the spot. I think the salesman is coming tomorrow to pick up his check. Do we approve it? No, we have a motion
I'll make that motion.
and a second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 The motion carries 5-0, Carol. For 177-2024, it's to consider the purchase and installation of a video security system for the new Public Works building at a cost of $11,594 from David Davis Communication. Again, we didn't have to bid it because it's a CoStar state bid for us. Bill, do you have anything to explain why we would like to see that?
Just so that we have security at the building, because it's sort of isolated out there. The other thing that we were looking at, it's not tied to this.
Speak up so everybody can hear, please. I know you don't have a microphone. Can you shout?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
We've heard you.
Thanks. We just want to secure the building because, quite frankly, from the road, you really can't see that elevated position up there. And this will give us a secure building. As you know, we have a lot of equipment, expensive equipment in that building. when
And
we
it's
ma-
access too, though, access to the doors.
Access, yes, access to the door. Those doors that we have up there, the man doors up there are quite heavy. And if we continue to use our keys on those, we'll be going through some keys up there. So I've already bent 2 keys opening the door for people up there. And then down the road, we're going to take a look at possibly putting a gate across that to keep people out of there, you know. So anyway, that's basically all I have on that.
Thank you, Bill. Is there a motion to approve that purchase for that video security system? And it's an access system also.
So moved.
It's been moved. Second. And seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Do I hear 5? The motion carries. For item number 178-2024, it's to consider the purchase and installation of an electronic access control system for the Public Works. I thought that was included. I apologize, Bill. Well, but this is a separate
I'll make a
price.
motion.
It's been moved
Second.
and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. For 179-2024, it's to consider the resignation of Officer Stephen Welsh from the Cecil Township Police Department, effective July 5th, 2024. Is there a motion to accept that resignation?
So moved.
I'll
Been
second.
moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. For item number 180-2024, it's to consider the approval of the Board of Supervisors minutes from our Monday, June 3rd, regular monthly meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Been moved
Second.
and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. For our item number 181-2024, it's to consider the general fund invoices from June 1st through June 30th, 2024.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. The motion carries. Okay, as always, the beat goes on. If any residents want to come up and talk about any other item that's unrelated to the agenda, please feel free. If there's many of you, you can form a queue also if you want to get in line behind there and get a turn.
Kara Sheridan, 58 North DePauli. I just wanted to, I guess, make a comment and ask a couple questions. So I think that there's a lot of new people, which is super exciting, to this conversation about the oil and gas hearing. As you know, over the last several months, we've had representatives from a number of our large neighborhoods in attendance at these meetings, also in the special meetings regarding the oil and gas ordinance. I want to make one thing super clear that I think a lot of people don't understand, is that if we don't propose a new ordinance and vote on a new ordinance, oil and gas drilling will be allowed 500 feet from your house, from everyone's house. So, I think the 2,500-foot setback is ideal, but I know at some point there needs to be some sort of a compromise. The map that is on the website right now includes not just a setback, but isolation to 2 locations within the entire township. One that is within 1,800 feet of Lawrence Hill Station, and the second that is at the Valley Brook location, which is 1,700 feet from Traditions of America. So I just want to be clear that, and make it clear to everyone, because I think there's a lot of conversations, that if nothing happens, it's 500 feet from anyone. If the map that's proposed today happens, yes, it is in fact less than 2,500 feet from both from Georgetown Estates and Lawrence Hill Station. Hopefully, the conversations that are going on and the reason that this is delayed means it's going to be something greater than that, maybe 2,500 feet. I have no idea what other options are being discussed. But I also want to note that we went through this before in 2020. We had multiple oil and gas ordinance workshops, and then nothing happened for 4 years because people stopped coming to the meetings and people stopped paying attention. Now here we are. We've been doing this now since we had a meeting in March, we had a meeting in April, we had a meeting in May, we canceled a meeting in June. We're not having a meeting before the August meeting, so we can't vote in August. Now we're 7 months into this exercise again, and I'm begging people to not lose focus. Because if we don't stay focused on this, it's not going to get done. I'm already, if I'm being honest, I think it's very frustrating that it's taking this long to begin with. And I think that all the supervisors on the board have a responsibility to focus on working this issue as expediently as possible, because if we don't, we're going to lose the interest of the residents, and then we're going to have the same problem on our hands again. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands, if nothing happens, they can drill 500 feet from your house. So people need to pay attention.
Kara, I want to add something to what you said. I mean, I know it's been taking time, but we have to get it right.
I agree.
And now the other thing, though, is whenever you see a map that shows 1,800 feet from the edge of a site to the edge of a development, no wells are drilled right on the property line. And if they're drilled 400 feet in, technically that 1,800 foot is 2,200 foot that would actually show it. We can't show that distance now because nobody knows where exactly the actual wellhead would be located. So I'm saying it's not 1,800 feet. It will always be more than 1,800 because that's from
What is the
edge of line.
setback from a property line to the edge of a well pad?
Well, it depends, I guess.
But I mean, there's no minimum requirement.
Well, I mean, they still have to put all that equipment around it, so it can't be drilled on a line. It's going to be somewhat into the property.
I understand what you're saying, and I appreciate that. I think that number one, that setback should be based on the edge of the pad anyways, but understanding it will be more than that from a wellhead.
We intend to get it done, get it right and get it done.
I agree.
Thank you.
And I'd say just the faster we can do it, the better, because we're going to lose interest of people, and then they're going to come back and be mad later.
We're not going to lose interest. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jill Baker. I live in Georgetown Estates. This has nothing to do with all of the other topics. With all of the development that's going on in the area, especially closer to Georgetown, what plans are there for rebuilding Georgetown Road from Morganza all the way to Mayview? It's getting to the point where it's undrivable. It's sinking. It hasn't been resurfaced. I have lived here for 30 years. It's never been resurfaced, and it's just getting to be a driving hazard. So I would like to know what kind of plans you have.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, it is a PennDOT road. It's not, we have no control over it, but we will ask Dawn to check with them and see if it's on the schedule, see where it might be on the, like the long-range plan or short-range plan.
Is there any influence that you might have with all the development that's going on out here?
Sorry.
Hi, my name is Eileen Leifer. I live in the Traditions of America Plan, 117 Liberty Boulevard. So I'm here to tell you the Traditions of America will never lose interest in this. Traditions of America. Traditions of America urges you to adopt the 2,500-foot setback. The only people who are in favor of something less are those that will benefit financially. And I will wager that none of them contract to have those operations within 1,000 feet of their own homes. Do not yield to the few landowners that will prosper at the expense of the health and well-being of the many residents that will have to live with the risks of close proximity to this exposure and decimation of their peaceful residential existence, even if it is a temporary 7 years and counting. Do not yield to the demands of the gas industry, who has benefited from the past generosity of oil and gas ordinances in this township. We already have our share of gas wells, with the opportunity to build additional wells with additional lateral lines on existing sites. On my recent bike ride through the bucolic back roads of Cedar Township, I passed more gas sites than cars passed me. The township has been generous to the gas industry, far more generous than our neighboring communities. In conclusion, TOA urges you, do not yield to those landowners who would force their neighbors to accept risks that they themselves would not assume. Do not yield to the special interests of the gas industry, who can and will continue to benefit from the earlier, less stringent ordinances. Yield instead to the residents who need your protection from the risks associated with this activity. We urge you to pass an ordinance that provides a 2,500-foot setback. Thank you.
And I would mention too, though, that we also have to yield to the law. I mean, we still have, you know, some limits that we have to consider also, but thank you.
Hi, Kenny Strain, at Sir James Drive, Windsor Woods. I just had a quick question for Sean. Are they going to replace this police officer that just resigned, or do you have?
That's up to the board. I mean, that's not going to be Sean's decision.
Well,
but the board will.
okay, I'm asking you guys. Is there a plan to replace
We
any
haven't-
police officers that we have a shortage of right now?
We
in the
haven't
township?
had a
He
chance to
wants
talk
the
about
job.
No, I don't want the job.
it. We
My
can't
son-
answer that yet. I'm sure we intend to have a full working police department. So
Okay.
let us work on that.
All right, fine. I just wondered. Thank you very much.
Nancy Aloy Edmonds, 1164 Old Farm Road, Lawrence, in Georgetown Estates. I've stood at this microphone previously sharing personal concerns regarding the impacts of oil and gas industry on health, environment, and quality of life. Today, I'd like to share a few quotes from the 43rd PA Grand Jury Report of 2020. This grand jury report assesses the impacts of Pennsylvania on a new, lucrative, but often destructive enterprise. The grand jury began this investigation based on evidence that private companies engaged in unconventional oil and gas activities have committed criminal violations of Pennsylvania's environmental laws. Evidence that government institutions often failed in their constitutional duty to act as trustee and guardian of all the people. Impacts of the industry will affect Pennsylvanians for decades to come. Our government often ignored the costs to the environment and to the health and safety of the citizens of the Commonwealth. We're aware of the continuing debate about the nature and degree of health impacts related to unconventional drilling. We do not believe, however, that such uncertainty could ever be an excuse for inaction. The purpose of government agencies like the DEP and DOH is to proactively prevent them, not wait to see if the worst really happens, because there's already been too much of that. The oil and gas activity is heavy industry, requiring heavy construction, heavy trucks, heavy traffic. Wells are drilled thousands of feet down into the ground through water tables and then laterally for thousands of feet more. Drills are lubricated with hazardous chemical compounds. When the holes are drilled, gas doesn't just flow up on its own. Fracking uses explosives and even more chemicals. Each well produces thousands of gallons of flowback of produced water, chemical-filled water that comes back up out of the well along with the gas. Where does that go? As the drill cuttings present unique issues for storage and disposal. It's a geological crapshoot. Landowners who sell their mineral rights often have no idea what it really involves, and people who buy property after rights have already been sold or who live next to someone who else has sold have no choice in the matter. Clouds of dust, grimy field, booming and blinding lights day and night. Oil and gas operators spilled products used to fracture a well, or the storage facilities that held the wastewater, which was leaked. The chemicals made their way into aquifers that fed individual homeowners' wells. Airborne chemicals burned the throat and irritated exposed skin. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Can
thank you.
I finish?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you, though. We've heard it. We appreciate it. We understand it.
Good evening. My name is Deborah Lee. I live at 1411 Lexington Drive in Georgetown Estates in the village of Lawrence. And I came prepared to talk to you today about the dangers of fracking and specifically about air contamination as you consider revisions to the current ordinance. And I'll leave you with some printouts that show the uncombusted hydrocarbons that characterize the emissions from a well site and a compressor station in Washington County. But you have all the evidence. You've read, I'm sure, the grand jury report. You've heard it time and again, whether from scientific and health studies or Physicians for Social Responsibility's report called Too Dirty, Too Dangerous, or the stories of real people like the Halowich family and the Gula family who have lost their homes, or Terry Greenwood and Daryl Spitsky who have lost farm animals, and the testimony of countless citizens like Michelle Stonemark and Jody Borello who continue to suffer the effects firsthand. I have here a document. It's called The List of the Harmed. It contains 1,000 names of people in Pennsylvania who have been harmed by the fracking industry. It is dated 2020, so I'm missing 4 years of data from it. The evidence is real, the people are real, and the dangers are profound. Fracking poisons the air and the water and the land and the environment. Fracking and its after effects can forever damage property and forever change people's lives. Instead, I ask you, the Board of Supervisors, to recommit to your oath as elected public servants to the Pennsylvania Constitution, which guarantees the people a right to clean air, pure water, and to the preservation of natural resources. While you may be limited in the impact that you can have on the industry, especially as it concerns human health and the environment, it is all part of the bigger picture. We are asking you to consider the big picture. We are asking you to do what you can do to contain the damage already in progress.
We are asking you to protect the people and expand the setbacks to 2,500 feet, not just for the sake of the people of Georgetown or the people of Lawrence or the people of Hill Station Manor, but for all the people of Cecil Township. We are asking you to act as if our lives depend on it, because our lives depend on it. Thank you.
Yes. My name is Emily Rodovich, and I am a resident of Georgetown Estates, 1495 Yorktown Drive. I'm finishing what my friend Nancy was not able to. She says, "My intention in sharing these statements is to demonstrate the unreliability of the industry itself and the state agencies that were meant to protect us. They don't have our backs, nor does our state government, with its minimum standards and likely complicity in the lack of response from the DEP and the DOH. That leaves our municipal leaders. You have the authority and power to ensure the health, safety, and quality of life in Cecil. Please don't let us down. 2,500 minimum setbacks are essential. Please expand the no-drill zones. Everything we've seen confirms that all the impacts of fracking activity are magnified by proximity. The closer you live to a gas well, compressor station, or pipeline, the more likely you are to suffer ill effects. Yet, the state law minimum setback for well construction is only 500 feet. That is dangerously close. An increase in the setback to 2,500 feet is far from extreme, but would do a lot to protect residents from risk. Thank you.
Good evening.
We are going to have AC, the last one, because we will have a hearing on this. I know this is getting to be like hearing material, and you might want to have it for the record at the hearing. There's no record of this whenever it's public comments. I just want to let you know we're going to just finish with her. Go ahead.
Mine's just a question. If I heard correctly, it was stated that the board has to follow the law when establishing setbacks. Is that correct?
No, we never said that. There was they set a minimum of 500-foot setback. We can do what we can do to put it as far away as we can, but we can't violate the law.
Okay. Okay. I just wanted to clarify from my end. So the question I have is simply, if we're looking to try and work through that to find a way to do this correctly by law, could we possibly talk with South Fayette, Peters Township, just to better understand how they've worked and navigated through this also? So it's just a question there, so.
We do. We have been. And we're taking that into consideration as we work through this. That's why I said we have to get it right. We just weren't ready yet.
Okay, perfect. All right, I appreciate your time.
Okay.
Thanks.
Hi, my name's Tim Barnes, and I'm 435 Georgetown Road in Lawrence. I was a little heated when I wrote this. Is the intent of the Planning Commission to plan land development projects for profiteers with little regard to the effect of the local community? Does the attraction of sponsorships for fishing derbies, adaptive swings, and fall festivals offset the risk of noise pollution, mine subsidence, water and wildlife contamination, and assorted health issues where wells are already in place? Both of the sites that were on the Planning Commission's map are in floodplains. Both of them are. Have companies approached the township in regard to drilling in those particular two areas? It didn't sound like it from the planning commission's meeting. They were just picking sites where maybe you could have a well, which seemed pretty strange to me. Do we have to use up every last bit of available land without any regard to green space in this township? I believe Supervisor Fisher stated the current map is fictitious, and that, for example, Range or EQT approached Valley Brook again. Since they had a previous approved lease, the township cannot change the setback on them. Is that true?
I did not say the map is fictitious. In fact, I came in to say that that was not a true statement. The person that said that was a planning commission member, Lauren Anderson, and what I stated was his statement wasn't accurate, that if that map was approved, that is in fact where well pads would be permitted to go in this township. So it is far from fictitious.
Okay. So it sounded like you said that the setbacks cannot be changed, and I thought that you meant at all, but did you mean for people who had previously had
So what
leases?
I meant, and again, I apologize for coming in at the end of that meeting because I was listening to it live stream, but what I meant was certain members of the Planning Commission had said that basically that setbacks could be changed, and that's not factually accurate. If that map is approved, whatever is approved on that map is where drilling can go. Setbacks wouldn't change. What we can then condition once that map is approved is things like whether or not they can use Jake breaks on the access roads, that they have to pave the first 50 feet of the access roads, that they have to use dust control. Once that map is approved, that's where drilling goes. And that's why, to Kara Sheridan's point, is right now, drilling can go 500 feet from anyone's home in any zoning district.
So the attempt is to change this ordinance before the next map is created? Is that what you're saying?
The intent of these hearings is to reevaluate that 500-foot setback. From experience, over the past few years of dealing with well pads 500 feet from residents' homes, it doesn't work. Even when Range does everything that they possibly can do to alleviate the noise and vibrations and inconveniences of living that close to a well pad, they can't fix it. They can't make it better for the people that live that close. So we are forced as a board then to reevaluate the positions, because I've said this a lot and I mean it, we're not allowed to tell them how to drill, but what we can tell them is where to drill. So we can look at our community as a whole and say, these are the areas where we feel it would be least inconvenient to the residents. I know. Least inconvenient to the residents to allow drilling in those areas. But we've had multiple lawyers come up, specifically the lawyer for Traditions of America, who I happen to agree with, who have said, we can't ban drilling. We can't. We're not allowed as a municipality. But we have 5 existing pads within the municipality. We haven't banned drilling. There are a lot of municipalities across the state of Pennsylvania that have far fewer than we do. So we don't have to allow well pads in every corner of our township in order to say we've allowed drilling. We have allowed drilling.
Is there a limited amount, like only 2 more or 4 more?
We could be done. We could be done. We could draw a map that encircles our 5 existing pads and say this is where we have allowed drilling. We will not allow drilling in any other area of the township, and that is not a ban. We could also.
So I have one more paragraph here, and
Sure.
I'll be done reading.
Go ahead.
Lawrence is undermined by Montour number 4. The Pittsburgh coal seam, the supply tip at the bottom of Miners Hill, is approximately 115 feet below grade. Just to tell you, across my yard in Lawrence is 22 yards. That's 2 yards. 2 yards deep. Okay, so the hill is already collapsing and currently closed for construction, Miners Hill. The bottom of that hill is what I'm talking about. If you've ever looked at a subterranean mine shaft map, which I assume was created before GPS, they're very confusing and possibly inaccurate. The portal on Hahn Road that took miners in and out of the mine is now Hahn AMD plant and treats the acid mine drainage for 2 mines. because Montour 4 busted into Montour 10 in 1980 and flooded out the mine.
He should be allowed a few
No,
extra
Tim,
minutes, because I was
Tim,
what I
talking.
was getting at is
Tim,
two
I'm gonna listen,
professionals-
I'm gonna tell you something, though. The board, there is a majority on the board that plans to expand that 500 foot. As Ms.
Do
Fisher
you know what
said,
the maximum will be?
listen, it's 500 right now. If the majority doesn't agree on something, it stays 500. The majority is committed to expanding it. I don't have a consensus on how far. So that's what we're working on. We got to work on it this month, and we will have a proposed map. We will get a consensus.
And like I said, I was wondering, do they have a professional in the planning commission that can read those subterranean maps? Because, just like what you just said about Miller's Run out here, it's the same thing. You start drilling under Lawrence, where do you think Chartiers Creek is going to go? Into the mine.
The drilling companies take that all into consideration. They're not going to be able to drill over top of a mine. They wouldn't get a permit for it. It's the truth. The DEP monitors that. It's nothing we can monitor on what's undermined. But the point is, I'm just saying, we have a majority to make it better. How much better it gets, I can't tell you yet, and we will keep working on it. And that's what I said when we want to get it right. Getting it right is getting a consensus.
So at 2,500 is
Well,
not enough or is too much? What is the current figure you guys are shooting for?
Well, we're working there now. I don't have a consensus. I can't tell you that.
All righty.
We
We'll
can't.
just hang in limbo there.
Yeah, we're in limbo too.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Ready, Darlene? All right. So actually, I'm not talking about oil and gas this time. Sorry, fellas, ladies. I have got a few questions from the Village of Muse residents. One, I want to thank Bill and his crew for coming out and doing the amazing job out on those stairs. The kids have even said thank you. The other thing, I want to thank the fire department for coming out for the Muse fire and the other fire departments that came. I want to congratulate our fire department for the updates and the repairs that were done on the Muse Fire Hall, but I do have a couple of questions on that. Like, what was the cost of the renovations? Where did the money come from? Was that from sure ticket sales? Was that from donations? Was that from line-eyed budgets? It's been put out there that Range Resource is who paid for that. Some people said that Range gave $1,000. Some people said Range gave $10,000. Just, we'd like to have some clarity to know who to thank, or, you know, is that from Jim's, all the truck sales and the sure tickets? Also, the residents wanted to know what was the condition of the fire hydrant in front of the house there on that Muse fire. The homeowner reported that there was low water pressure or not water pressure. I wasn't sure. Just, these are residents just asking. Or was there a problem with the valves? And then they also wanted to know, when was the last time after the new fire hydrants got put in Muse, have they been serviced or checked? Just for, I don't know if we do that. You know, they said that back in the day you guys would open up the valves and water would shoot out. I said, I don't know that that is done anymore, but I would ask. And then lastly, when it comes to the fire hydrants, is that something that we as residents need to say if there seems to be an issue with one of the caps or the flags being bent over? Is that something that you guys come around regularly and do? And that's my questions from the Village of Muse.
As far as the funding goes from the Muse Fire Department, they're currently a private entity. They're a nonprofit. Those funds were used on their own. You can ask Chief Matt Bloom how those funds were spent, and President Brigham Bloom of that organization. Until we get the fire department merged under the township, I have no way of saying how that money was spent. As far as the water pressure goes in Muse that night, I have never gotten a report of there being low water pressure. As far as I know, talking to the crews that night, water pressure was fine in those hydrants, and there was no issue with the hydrants. The
homeowner said that there was not enough pressure in the one closest to his home, and that the guys had to then go down to the last one down there at the end of Maple to get the water source. So that's a question from the homeowners.
No, that's confusion and misinformation. There was a hydrant about 10 feet away
Yeah.
that they used, and it worked perfectly fine. Another fire truck had come in and brought a hose from a secondary fire hydrant, and that's all that was.
Okay.
There was no water pressure issues in the fire hydrants. As far as fire hydrant issues go, that's not the responsibility of the fire department. The township rents those from PA American Water. It's up to PA American Water to maintain and service those fire hydrants. If you do have an issue though, please do give us a call so we know about it.
So something like that, we would call the water company?
Yes.
Do you guys, do they have a sheet that they fill out with you guys that says, okay, January 1, we came out and checked 13 of the 64, or?
They're supposed to maintain those fire hydrants
Okay.
on a regular basis.
It's just a concern with us having a fire. You know, we have elderly people, and there was a little concern because, you know, people want to know. I mean, you guys did a great job. We appreciate it, you know, but I told them I would ask, so I asked. So
All right, thank you, Ted.
We'll talk to Mr.
Appreciate
Blue.
the answer. All right, he answered the question. We are going to get on to old business from the township, but I just have to say this again. If all 5 board members have an intent to increase the distance, that's a start, but we have to get a majority to say what the distance is, to agree to it. If I want 2,500 and I can't get 2 other ones to say it, it will not be 2,500. So I'm just saying that we'll work through that at the next hearing, so please attend that hearing. Is there any other old business that anybody intends to bring up tonight? Hey, go ahead, Darlene, talking to the microphone, please. Darlene has the floor, please.
Last meeting, whenever Supervisor Fisher was talking about the Klinger Park, and I mentioned about the pictures that I had from the porta-johns, the field not being cut, the garbage cans, and also the bleachers that were donated from McDowell. I have all the pictures here. Whenever she disputed it, saying that I didn't have this information or it wasn't there, I'd be more than
That's
happy.
not what I said. I said there's no bleachers at Klinger Park.
Well, here they are.
Can I
They
see
were
them?
right behind the.
Can I see them?
Sure, they were right behind the the mobile mini trailer, along with the garbage can and all this.
Can I see the
We'll pass
bleachers?
it on. Thank you,
They were
Darlene. Anybody else have
two
new
of 'em.
business? Any new business that we're working
Wait,
on?
further, can we show the public this? These aren't bleachers. These are 2 benches.
Okay, so,
There are no bleachers at Klinger Park. Just for the record.
they were considered bleachers at McDowell Farm.
All right, okay.
No, these are benches where kids sit at, like, if you're on a baseball team.
Because that park's not like that under my leadership.
Okay.
Those photographs were taken when the soccer association was still maintaining that field. That field looks nothing like that now.
It's beautiful. Thank you, Bill.
But Bill, those pictures, okay, I want to clarify something too. Those pictures were taken whenever Supervisor Fisher said that we were going to bring in all this money and not have an expense on the taxpayer's back for I don't know, it was Fairfield Landscaping that was doing all the cutting the grass, fertilizing, weed killing, and all that. That was up there at that time. That's when I went up there and I got these pictures.
Darlene, the point
Wait,
is,
so
she
hold
didn't say,
on.
wait,
Let me
she didn't
defend
say
myself.
the maintenance was gonna be on them to earn money to pay for it all. She said that would supplement it. I mean, it's still our park, we have to maintain it. Any money that brings in from the rents and the leases, it just helps us, but we still have to
So
maintain
for
it.
the
But at that
record-
point in time, you were
So-
trying to get more of the soccer association to pay for this expense and take it off the back of our taxpayers.
So for the record, Darlene, Bill, actually specifically Rick, does the grass cutting at
I know
Klinger
that.
Park, and he does a phenomenal job. Fairfield does weed and feed. And we do get a significant, if not 100% of the cost covered by a rental that we have with Beadling. They have already expressed an interest, as Jack will tell you, in renting in the fall. So it's covered again for the fall. If you think that the $2,000 that the taxpayers pay to allow children to play soccer is too much, I say shame on you.
But here's the thing, is it the Cecil, wait a minute.
Wait, no,
Just a second.
No, I listen to you now, and then you listen to me. I'm not gonna continue to talk to you about Klinger Park. The only board member who has done anything to grant fund any park in this township is me. I've gotten over $1 million in grants for Cecil Park, Klinger Park, the salt storage shed, the bridges in Cecil Park. So maybe instead of going and taking pictures or trying to get aha moments of things, maybe you should spend a little bit of time writing grants, because you've gotten $0.
Well, all I have to say is this was way back whenever you said you were going to bring in all this money for that Klinger Park.
I'm still working on it.
It sounds like there's no new business, so unless there's any objections of the board to close the meeting?
No, close the meeting.
Then the meeting is hereby adjourned. Thank you.